Tonight, Home Court claims another victim. Government pre-approves scandalous contractors for Demerara Harbour Bridge. And one family in Burpees accuses a gang of police of robbing them of millions of dollars in broad daylight. I am Enrico Bulford, and this is Uncut News. Gold dealer and Roger Corner associate Ricardo Fagundes was run over and gunned down in front of Palm Court last night. According to police, Fagundes was at PC drinking with a quote-unquote known colleague, got to love those police, known colleague, when he decided to go outside to take a phone call. Seconds later, someone ran him over and hopped out the car and emptied a whole clip into the poor chap before speeding off. Wow. First the multi-million-dollar drug bust, now murders in the middle of the street. I guess the PPP really is back. Oh well, you all voted for this, not me. Today, 2 security guards at Kaiju News were arraigned for beating a homeless man to death right outside of the workplace. Oh my. 39-year-old Tony Waldron and 49-year-old Jan Licorice, you do Licorice. Waldron and Licorice were charged with the murder of 58-year-old Mohabir Singh. They were remanded to prison until next month. Wow, so not only does Kaiju News not believe in fact-checking, it looks like they also don't believe in employee background checking either. Ha! Speaking of a lack of due diligence, 6 of the 9 companies the government has shortlisted for the construction of the new Demerara Harbour Bridge have either been debarred for corrupt practices by the World Bank or have been involved in multi-million-dollar money laundering scandals. The Ministry of Public Works pre-qualified the 9 companies out of a list of over 54 applicants. In 2017, China's State Construction Engineering Corp was sued for a multi-million-dollar construction fraud scandal in the Bahamas. They reportedly submitted fake billing statements and diverted monies to other projects which caused them to be banned by the World Bank. China's Gezhouba Group Company, I probably said that name wrong. Anyway, Gezhouba Group Company was also banned by the World Bank in 2015 for a set of cock-up work they did in China. Yes, so if they'll wrong their own countrymen, what's to stop them from wronging you next? Well, another of one of the Chinese companies selected by the government was China Railway International Group Company. Well, they were also debarred by the World Bank for alleged gross financial malpractices in the US state of Georgia. Yes, they were ballsy enough to try that crap in the heart of Trumpistan. Interestingly enough, that same China Railway International was selected by the government to rehabilitate the East Coast Highway. The next one was Suriname's Ballast Needham. Well, they got in trouble in 2013 for a multi-million-dollar bribery scam involving Surinamese and Saudi politicians to obtain favorable considerations for projects, as did another candidate, the French company Eiffage. They were accused of paying off Angolan politicians. Speaking of government bribery scandals, that brings us to the last, but certainly not least, the Brazilian megacorporation Odebrecht. They recently found themselves in the middle of one of the largest corruption scandals in the world. Look up Operation Car Wash if you want more information. But to be honest with you folks, Kaiju only identified 4 of the scandals, while I actually found 6 before giving up. So don't be surprised if the other 3 aren't so innocent either. On Saturday afternoon, at least 7 persons were left homeless after a suspected electrical fire destroyed 2 houses at Aurora Region 2. 1 woman was left hospitalized. And on Sunday morning, a 79-year-old woman died in an early morning house fire in Wakenham. She was reportedly burned to death by an overturned coal stove. Now it's time to tell you about Best Buy's car of the day. Currently on sale is this 2018 Suzuki Swift RS Sports Edition. It comes with Bluetooth, CD stereo, steering controls, crystal light, mug rims, fog lamps, and much, much more. Pay cash for $3.6 million, or pay down as low as $720,000 with around $70,000 monthly, and it's yours. Call or WhatsApp 662-0844 for more info, or visit their showrooms at 171 Peter Rose Street, Queenstown, or Lot 2 Lamar Street, and tell them Rico sent you for their sweet deal. Over the weekend, 5 siblings living in Waroni on the Berbice River accused a group of 30 off-duty police rocks of breaking into their homes and stealing over $10 million, a quantity of jewelry, outboard engines, and other valuables, while the homes were unoccupied at the time because they were over at a birthday party. But apparently, a nearby family member witnessed the men pull up in broad daylight in 2 separate boats before pulling out window louvers in the homes to break into them. Beautiful Guyana, where if the thieves and the politicians don't rob you, the police will. After failing to gain a foothold in the nation's aviation market in 2016, Fly Always is trying it again. Agile recently announced that the Suriname-based carrier will be flying from Paramaribo to Georgetown, then on to either Curacao or Barbados. Well, good luck to them. All I can say is that if they didn't do good in good times, well then what makes now any better? Oh well, know yourself. You can multiply your cash by selling digital top-up. This is a legit way you can earn some extra money at your business or to supplement your existing side hustle. Become a top-up vendor quick and easy through Cellular Plus. Call them on telephone number 685-3109 for more info. One sibling rivalry in East Rumveld ended with both getting slapped with assault charges. Brother and sister Wayne and Tisha Wilson were granted bail when they appeared before the magistrate's court. Apparently, Tisha is accused of using abusive and threatening language, while Wayne's in trouble for responding to said verbal violence with physical violence. Anyway, Tisha had to pay $5,000 per charge, while Wayne was placed on $20,000 bail. These siblings are set to return to court on April 21st, 2021. Now it's time for today's Runner Report. As you know, every day we report the official numbers from the Ministry of Health to keep you informed and to make sure there is consistency so as to avoid public confusion. But the folks over at the ministry didn't have their coffee today, so we will update you on the official runner starts tomorrow. In the meantime, remember to wash your hands frequently, avoid touching your nose and mouth, and mask up before you leave the house. When you do leave home, try to avoid enclosed spaces and large crowds, and remember to give 6 feet of space between you and others. Now for news in the region. In the Bahamas, the leader of the Democratic National Alliance, Orinthia Komolafe, was among 11 people detained by the Royal Bahamas Police Force today for a protest the party staged outside of the House of Assembly 3 weeks ago. The police said they summoned Komolafe and others for questioning after, quote, a matter was brought to the attention of the police that warranted an investigation, end quote. But, like typical police, they wouldn't say what the matter was. Social media users have questioned the arrest of DNA members when Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis and his supporters are seen in large groups, often with no regard for social distancing, canvassing for votes ahead of impending elections. Robbery season might be over, but the streets are still mean. If I were you, I would consider getting security for the home of business. I personally recommend Sheriff Security Service. I find that they are the most professional with well-trained armed or unarmed guards. Get some security, people. The Jamaican government has begun testing its ECommerce National Delivery System, or the ENDS. The system was developed to allow the fast food industry to continue for longer hours within the curfew. Prime Minister Andrew Holness says he wants the system to be fully inclusive and enable the smallest vendors, like your favorite pan chicken vendors and fried fish vendors, to participate. So, good for them, everyone wins. And now for our weird news story of the day. On Monday, one Florida man was sentenced to 7 years in federal prison for pretending to be an associate of the Wu-Tang Clan and Jay-Z. 29-year-old Aaron Barnes-Burpo of Crestview, Florida, pleaded guilty for committing wire fraud. Barnes-Burpo and co-conspirator 52-year-old Walker Washington ran their elaborate scam for several weeks before being caught in November 2019. Barnes-Burpo claimed to be with Rock Nation, an entertainment and management company founded by Jay-Z. Well, Burpo would provide a credit card number for authorization as long as the workers at the hotels did not charge it, because he was planning to pay with a certified check at the end of the stay. But when one hotel worker in Atlanta noticed that he'd been there weeks before, that same worker got in contact with the real Rock Nation, thus leading to the scam falling apart. Barnes-Burpo has been ordered to pay nearly $300,000 to 19 businesses he defrauded. If you own one of the best diesel engines in the world, then the name Cummins is very familiar to you. But even the best engines need spare parts, am I right? Powered Automotive Truck Spares and Engine Parts at 1161 EE Eccles stocks Cummins engine spare parts for 6BT and 6CT engines and much more. call or WhatsApp 697-0171 or follow Powered Automotive Truck Spares and Engine Parts on Facebook. Moving on to our Uncut News Views Poll question of the day. Every day we pose a question about current events in Guyana, the region, the diaspora, and how you feel it relates to us. So, you give your responses in the comments, and we'll read the best ones in the following episode. Friday's question was about the shocking regularity of property theft and how it can be prevented. Angie, the atheist, said people should make sure that their property tax is paid on time with the owner's name on the receipt. Keep transports in safe deposit box, and if possible, take out a mortgage on the property. With these things in place, it would make it difficult for anyone to be affected by property theft. Good one. J. Hiram said best laws should be instituted and followed to protect from property theft. The current laws are outdated. I would agree with that. And I'm sorry, I really can't pronounce your name, but you know who you are. Establish legal paperwork with defined property lines, deed and title ownership. Until then, anyone who needs a piece of land for a home should find and build, provided it's not farmland or openly known owned property. Technically, it's all Amerindian land anyways. Ask them. I might not be able to pronounce your name, but I like where your mind is. All good answers today. Don't you just love it when you can learn from your peers? Anyway, so for tonight's question. In Jamaica, the government is setting up the digital infrastructure to allow businesses to work, even during the curfew. What measures should our government take to assist small businesses in our country during the pandemic? Think about that question and tell us in the comments below. If your response is good enough, we just might feature it in Tuesday's episode. Anyway, that's all the time we have for tonight. Check us out tomorrow for another. Until then, I'm Rico Bulford saying good night, folks. Hey Uncut News viewers, thanks for watching. You can subscribe by clicking on this button over here, or click over there for more news. You can also drop a comment to let me know if you've made it to the end of the video. Goodbye for now.